Welcome to the LDN radio show, brought to you by the LDN Research Trust. I'm your host, Linda Elsiegood. I have an exciting lineup of guest speakers who are LDN experts in their field. We will be discussing low-dose naltrexone and its many uses in autoimmune diseases, cancers, etc. Thank you for joining us. Today I'd like to welcome our guest Kris from the US, who takes LDN for MCAS. Thank you for joining us today, Kris.
Thanks for having me.
So could you tell us, when did you first notice there was something wrong with you?
Well, I've always had a lot of allergy issues growing up, a lot of headaches, a lot of skin rashes and things like that. But it wasn't until I hit about age 40 that I kind of had a full body breakdown. So looking back, I think there was a couple factors involved. It was a stressful time in my life. In addition, I think I had some exposure to mold and maybe some food poisoning that caused some SIBO. But everything started to go awry, starting with my stomach. I had a lot of pains, digestive issues, bloating, things like that. But then it kind of migrated around. I had ear problems, eye problems, like blurry vision randomly, mouth sores, random pains throughout my body, leg cramps, fatigue, et cetera, and I visited quite a few doctors, trying to treat each symptom separately. So an ENT for my ear and my mouth and things like that. And most of them said, there's nothing wrong with you. Everything looks good. Did a lot of blood work and found no relief. I went to several GI doctors. I had my gallbladder removed, which was perfectly healthy, just all in search of some relief from what I was going through. And it wasn't until I got a referral from my father, actually, who had gone to Dr. Weinstock here in St. Louis, that I made my way to him, and he treated me for SIBO, which helped the stomach problems a lot. But I just randomly mentioned to him that I was having, it was depending on the day, I had a different problem on different days, and that kind of perked up his interest, and he started asking me a lot of questions, and I didn't really know where he was headed, but he did a lot of diagnostic work and discovered that I had MCAS, and then we made our way through the years to get me some relief there. So that was about 15 years ago that this all kind of started to go awry. So
at that time, can you describe to us what a typical day was like for you?
It was a very stressful time. It was hard to get through the day. I worked full time. I was also a single parent. So I had a very stressful job. I needed to be there the whole time. Plus my son had a lot of extracurriculars, and it was very hard to make it through the day. It was low period, and you get down as well, just because you feel terrible all day. I just had to will myself through the days and try to get through it and try to do the best I could to make it. It was a difficult time.
Mm-hmm. What symptoms did you have other than that it being very difficult?
Well, at that time, it was all of them coming together. So as I mentioned, I was fatigued. I had digestive issues, the mouth sores, the blurry vision, ear problems, leg cramping at night. I had problems sleeping, and then the random pains that weren't particularly associated with any area that had an organ in it, and just I also had some heart, I guess you would call it beat problems, fluttering, things of that nature that, again, was checked out, and everybody told me I was fine, but I wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Did you have vomiting as a issue?
I did not. I had nausea sometimes. I did have a couple of episodes of vomiting, but I think that was related more to the SIBO, which I mean, it's all kind of related, but I had one particularly bad incident where, I was out for basically the whole day. Like it was not a pleasant day, but overall, not a lot of vomiting, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you had to rate your quality of life on a score of 1 to 10 before you found Dr. Weinstock, what would you have said it was?
Probably in the neighborhood of a 3. Again, I was really willing myself through the days, but it was, I kept wondering if the doctors were missing something, or, there was a major diagnosis that it was bleak, like cancer or something. What was going on that was causing all of this to happen? And it was, there were some days where I felt a little bit better, and there were some days where I felt even worse than that. But in general, it's probably about a 3.
Mm-hmm. So what did Dr. Weinstock suggest once he'd got to see you?
Well, we started with treating the SIBO. So once that got under control, that helped. And then we went to, once he found out it was MCAS, we went to an H1 and an H2 blocker. So we did the Pepsid and Claritin together. I also tried a lot of the supplements, so a lot of vitamins, vitamin C and D and quercetin, and that seemed to help quite a bit, just calming things down a little bit. But I still was having the random pains and some other things going on. So then he started me on the LDN, and that helped things quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. When you first started the LDN, did you have any side effects?
I did. I'm prone to headaches. Headaches are still something I'm struggling to get under control, but it gave me a lot of headaches. And actually, I stopped at 3 milligrams, so I think the normal dose is to go up to 4.5, if I'm remembering correctly. And I made it to 3, and I saw success with 3, so I stopped because the headaches and other things were a little bit too much, and I was finding success with the other symptoms abating.
Well, it's actually a misconception saying that 4.5 is the dose. We now know that it's an individual dose, so if 3 works for you, then 3 is the right for you. But people that are listening, 2 could be right for them, or even 1.5. Or they might need to go higher than 4.5. So, it is really that individual. But the worsening of headaches, how long did that last?
Well, we did it, we dosed up very slowly to try to help that. I think I've been on it for some time. I'm trying to recall it. After I got to the dose where I kind of stopped, it was only maybe a week after that. I think the headaches were gone by then. And we just went, we kind of backtracked for a little bit, went down a dose to let the head settle down, and then moved back up once things were feeling better. So it did take me some time to get up to the 3 milligrams. It wasn't a quick succession, and I certainly didn't start with 3. I think I started with 0.5 and moved up from there.
And what was the first improvement you noticed?
The random pains, actually. Again, I'd have more like fibromyalgia kinds of pains in my side or just in random places, and that went away pretty quickly. That was probably the first thing that got better. And then it helped my stomach, most notably, just with the digestive issues. It kept things moving and helped in that situation.
Okay. So how are you feeling now? What would your quality of life be now on that score of 1 to 10?
I say I'm at least an 8 right now. Like last year, I would have put myself at a 9. You know, these things ebb and flow. So food is definitely something I'm still figuring out. What bothers me, what doesn't. The headaches are still something I'm working on. I'm just trying to avoid going on more medication. So that is something I'm still working with. But overall quality of life is so much better. The fatigue is gone. The leg cramping is gone. I don't have any mouth sores or ear problems are completely gone. The vision is better. So overall, things are really good. There's hope out there. It took a while to get there, but yes, I'm so thankful for where I am today.
And what about sleep? Has that improved?
It did for a while. Recently, I've switched up some medicines. I don't know, recently I'm having some issues, but overall, yes, I love my sleep, and the leg cramping stopped, and I think the fatigue was better. So it was definitely much better after getting things under control.
Do you find when you alter your medications, it upsets the MCAS?
Sometimes, yes. So, I believe the guidance is that it's working, keep doing it. So I am always not a lover of medicine. So adding new things is not my goal. I want to remove them. So I did at one point try to go down on the LDN, not Weinstock's suggestion, but again, just I'm feeling great. I want to see if I can dial things down and take less medicine, and I quickly realized that was a mistake. Mm-hmm. And the LDN I have no side effects from that whatsoever, so there's really no problem taking it long term. So yes, I think changing medication is a little tricky for sure.
What would you say to other people who are struggling how you were before you found Dr. Weinstock? What would your advice to them be?
You're not crazy. If you feel like something's wrong and the doctors are telling you that on paper everything looks good, but you feel like it's not, keep digging, find someone who understands what you're going through and is willing to do that diagnostic work to figure it out. I'm so thankful that I got to Dr. Weinstock, because I think that's a huge strength of his, that he was willing to dig in and listen and put the pieces together. I think that was the big thing. I kept going to different doctors to treat the individual symptoms, and no one was looking at the big picture to see that all these things were kind of connected. And I think the more we can get the word out about this, the better, because I know it's not really taught about in schools and medical schools very much. So there's a lack of understanding about it. I think there is sometimes medical professionals think you're maybe overreacting or you're hypochondriac or something of that nature. But I think we all know our bodies the best, and if something is not feeling right, hang in there and keep looking for the answers.
Well, thank you very much for having shared your story with us today. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, that was wonderful. Thank you, Kris. You take care.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm Dr. Leonard Weinstock, a guy who's been prescribing LDN since 2005, and I've seen the wonders. And I keep on seeing them, especially in hard-to-diagnose conditions. They're not that hard to do, but once you know about Mast Cell Activation Syndrome, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, you'll find that 17% of your friends or relatives have one or more of these conditions, and you can help them. We're making a documentary to wake up the medical community, to educate the population, but we need funding. So please fund whatever you can afford, no matter how little, www.mcasfund.com. That's mcasfund.com.
Any questions or comments you may have, please email me, Linda, Linda, at ldnrt.org. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciated your company. Until next time, stay safe and keep well.